All right, so today we're diving into something a little different. Um, we're going to be exploring a horoscope.
Ooh.
I know, for March 2025,
Hmm.
specifically for all you Aries out there. And I know horoscopes can be a bit,
Yeah,
hit or miss, but
right.
this one comes from an astrologer named Lorenzo. And he's known for being
Mm-hmm.
really direct with his predictions. So
Okay, yeah.
no sugarcoating here. Get ready for some serious cosmic truth, I guess.
That's right. Lorenzo's style is definitely like, tell it like it is. And he calls March a month of breakthrough or breakdown for Aries.
Breakthrough or breakdown? Wow, okay. So no pressure, Aries.
Right.
So what exactly does he
Huh.
see happening during this pivotal month?
Well, he breaks down his predictions week by week. And
Okay.
it all starts with a focus on the past. So from March 1st to the 10th, Lorenzo says Aries needs to confront anything that's been holding them back, whether it's old habits, outdated beliefs,
Hmm.
or relationships that have run their course. It's time to let go
Yeah.
or face the consequences.
Okay, so week one is all about clearing out the cobwebs, facing those shadows.
Yeah.
Does Lorenzo give any insight into, like, why this is so important for Aries right now?
Yeah, he does. He points out that during this first week, the sun is in Pisces,
Okay.
which happens to be the 12th house for Aries.
Okay.
And in astrology, the 12th house is all about endings, hidden fears, and the subconscious.
So it's like the universe is giving Aries this push
Yes.
to really do some inner work and release anything that's no longer serving them.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic detox.
I like that.
And Lorenzo makes it clear that if Aries tries to ignore this call to cleanse, they're going to face some serious roadblocks later on.
Got it. So no sweeping things under the rug this time, Aries?
Nope.
What about the second week of March?
Well, things get even more intense from March 11th to the 20th. Lorenzo says the universe is forcing a reset for Aries.
A forced reset. It sounds like Aries doesn't really have a choice in the matter.
Well, it really doesn't. He even says that resisting this change will only lead to hitting a wall.
Yeah.
But if they go with it,
Right?
they'll come out stronger on the other side.
So there's this element of surrender involved, trusting that, the universe has their best interests at heart,
Exactly.
even if it feels uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. And he ties this period of forced change to the sun moving into Aries on March 20th,
Okay?
which also happens to be the spring equinox.
Right.
This marks the beginning of Aries season, so their own energy is reunited.
That's interesting. So while there's this external pressure to change,
Yes.
internally, Aries is also going through a period of renewal.
Right, it's like a
Self-discovery.
double whammy of transformation.
Wow. Just 2 weeks into March, and things are already getting pretty wild for Aries.
Yeah.
But Lorenzo doesn't stop there, does he? He has more to say about the rest of the month.
Oh, yeah. For the final stretch of March, from the 21st to the 31st, Lorenzo says clarity and consequences arrive. He's basically saying that decisions made earlier in the month
Yeah.
will start to have a very real impact on Aries' life.
So if they took the opportunity to let go of what was no longer serving them
Uh-huh.
during those first 2 weeks,
Yeah.
this final stretch will bring a sense of freedom and a clear path forward.
Exactly. It's like they'll be reaping the rewards of all that inner work they did. But
if they resisted change and slung to the past.
yeah, then they're going to see the consequences.
Okay, so the last part of March is all about facing the music, for better or for worse.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
And Lorenzo makes it clear that this clarity won't just magically appear. Aries will need to actively participate in the process,
Yeah.
making conscious choices and taking responsibility.
It's like he's reminding them that they have agency in all of this.
Yes.
It's not just about fate, it's about how they choose to respond.
Exactly. It's about using their free will to navigate the challenges and opportunities that come their way.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground already, but Lorenzo's predictions go even deeper. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive into his specific forecasts for love, relationships, career, and finances for Aries in March 2025.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Lorenzo's predictions for Aries in March 2025. Before we were talking about how the end of March brings this
Right.
period of clarity and consequences where all those early month choices start to solidify.
Right, it's like the universe is holding up a mirror to Aries and saying, okay, here's what you've created. Time to deal with it.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And speaking of facing reality, let's get into some specifics. Lorenzo doesn't hold back when it comes to love and relationships for Aries this month.
Oh, I'm all ears. Lorenzo always has some interesting insights when it comes to matters of the heart. So what does he have to say about Aries' love life in March?
Well, if an Aries is holding on to a connection that's past its expiration date, March is going to bring that to the surface in a big way.
So no more pretending that things are fine if they're not.
Yeah. He says weak foundations crumble this month.
Ooh,
That's
Yeah.
just how it goes. And even for those Aries in strong relationships, he warns that transformation is inevitable,
Hmm.
and it won't be without its challenges.
It sounds like even the good relationships will be tested this month. So no one's off the hook when it comes to relationship drama.
Not according to Lorenzo. And for those Aries who are single,
Okay.
he has some tough love to share. He says it's time to break the cycle of chasing after people who drain them. March is all about recognizing those unhealthy patterns and choosing self-respect over repeating old mistakes.
Ooh, that's a good one. Choosing self-respect over repeating old mistakes. That's something we can all benefit from,
Right.
regardless of our zodiac sign.
Absolutely. And he doesn't just say it nicely, he really emphasizes the urgency of this message.
Yeah.
He's basically telling single Aries, like, this is your chance to make a change. Don't waste it.
Wow, there's that breakthrough or breakdown energy again.
All right.
It sounds like if single Aries ignore these cosmic cues, they're going to end up in a mess by the
Yeah.
end of March.
That's what he's predicting. He says ignoring the signs will only lead to emotional chaos.
Okay.
But if they step up and take action,
Yeah.
they have the potential to reclaim their power in a big way.
So it's like there's this fork in the road presented to Aries
Mhm.
this month
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to relationships. One path leads to freedom and empowerment,
Yes.
while the other leads to more of the same heartache and drama.
You got it.
Yeah.
His predictions about these relationship dynamics, like, become even more clear when we look at the astrological influences
Okay.
at play during March.
Okay, let's get into that. What's happening cosmically
Yeah.
that's creating all this tension and potential for transformation in Aries relationships?
Well, first of all, we have Venus retrograde in Aries,
Okay.
which is happening in their first house.
So for those of us who aren't fluent in astrospeak, what does that mean?
It basically means that this Venus retrograde is all about forcing Aries to look in the mirror
Okay.
and examine their values and how they show up in relationships. It's a time for deep self-reflection when it comes to love and connection.
Makes sense why Lorenzo is emphasizing the need to break free from unhealthy cycles. It's like the universe is giving Aries a chance to kind of like
Yes,
change the way they relate to others.
exactly. And to add another layer of complexity, Venus actually re-enters Pisces on March 28th,
Okay.
which is the 12th house for Aries. Remember, the 12th house is all about endings, hidden truths, and the subconscious.
So maybe some secret love affairs come to light or
Ooh.
endings of relationships that haven't been serving Aries.
It's definitely possible. And we can't forget about Lilith in Libra, which is happening in Aries' 7th house.
Okay, reminder. What does Lilith represent again?
Lilith is kind of like our shadow self, those rebellious urges and desires that we try to keep hidden. It's all about exposing power dynamics and shaking things up.
So with Lilith in the 7th house, which rules partnerships,
Yeah.
no wonder Lorenzo's talking about potential power struggles and even toxic dynamics in
Yeah.
Aries relationships this month.
Exactly. And to make things even more interesting, Lilith moves into Scorpio on March 28th,
Okay.
which is Aries' 8th house.
Oh boy. And the 8th house is known for being pretty intense.
It is. It deals with themes like sex, death, transformation, and shared resources.
Ooh.
Basically, all the deep and sometimes taboo stuff.
So it sounds like things could get really heated
Yeah.
for Aries when it comes to love and intimacy this month. Lorenzo isn't exactly painting a picture of like peaceful romance, is he?
No, not really. He's saying March is a time to face the shadow side of relationships. And that could involve some pretty intense emotional and sexual energy. There's even potential for issues around betrayal to surface.
Wow, definitely not a month for the faint of heart when it comes to love. But, Lorenzo doesn't just drop these bombshells and leave Aries to fend for themselves.
Right.
He does offer some practical advice on how to navigate these relationship challenges.
Yeah, he does. He encourages Aries to embrace change, set clear boundaries, and prioritize their own emotional well-being above all else.
It's like he's giving them the tools they need to kind of forge their own path even when things feel chaotic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But love and relationships aren't the only Aries he focuses on in this horoscope. He also dives deep into Aries' career and finances.
Okay.
And let me tell you, his predictions are equally bold and uncompromising.
Okay, I'm ready for it. What does Lorenzo have in store for Aries in the realm of work and money this month?
Well, first of all, he straight up calls March a financial crossroads for Aries.
A financial crossroads. That sounds ominous. What does he mean by that?
He's saying March is a time of reckoning when it comes to money. If an Aries has been reckless with their finances, they can expect a wake-up call this month.
Ooh, okay.
This could come in the form of unexpected expenses, a job loss,
Right.
or even just a sudden realization that they need to get their financial act together.
Time to grow up and get serious about your money, Aries.
Pretty much. But it's not all doom and gloom. If an Aries has been waiting for the perfect moment to take a career risk, to go after that promotion, start their own business,
Mm.
Lorenzo says March is the time to act.
Now or never, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he emphasizes that delaying any longer will cost them more in the long run. He's like, the universe is supporting you right now,
Mm.
but that window of opportunity won't stay open forever.
There's that sense of urgency again. Lorenzo definitely doesn't want Aries to sleep through March.
Not at all. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He highlights the importance of networking during this time. He says that someone in Aries' circle holds the key to an opportunity.
So it's all about who you know.
In a way, yeah. He's saying that the right people are going to come into Aries' life at the right time,
Mm.
and it's up to them to recognize and seize those opportunities.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
It's like a reminder that we're all connected and that sometimes the support we need comes from unexpected places.
Exactly. And of course, there's always an astrological explanation for his predictions. He links this sense of urgency and this potential for both financial setbacks and breakthroughs to Mercury retrograde in Aries, which starts on March 15th
Okay.
and lasts until the end of the month.
Mercury retrograde. Everyone's favorite astrological scapegoat. But seriously, how does Mercury retrograde tie into all of this?
Well, this particular Mercury retrograde is happening in Aries' first house, so it's all about their self-expression,
Okay.
communication, and how they take action in the world.
So misunderstandings, delays,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of communication mishaps could arise.
Exactly. And Mercury retrograde is notorious for bringing up things from the past.
Oh, fun.
So old financial issues or career decisions could resurface, requiring Aries to deal with them
Right.
once and for all.
It's like the universe is giving Aries this cosmic audit of their career and finances.
That's a great way to put it. And to make things even more interesting, we also have Jupiter and Gemini happening in Aries' third house of communication and learning.
Okay, wait, isn't Jupiter a lucky planet? So is this good news for Aries, even with Mercury retrograde going on?
It could be. Jupiter in Gemini is a very positive transit, and it suggests opportunities for expansion through networking,
Hmm.
communication, learning new skills.
So even though Mercury retrograde might be throwing some wrenches into the works, Jupiter is offering some support and potential for growth.
Exactly. It's all about using this time to learn, grow, and
Mhm.
build relationships that will support their career goals.
I love that. It's like the reminder that even during challenging times, there are always opportunities for growth
Absolutely.
and expansion.
And speaking of challenges, we can't talk about finances without mentioning Uranus and Taurus,
Okay.
which is happening in Aries' second house.
Okay, refresh my memory. What does Uranus represent in astrology?
Uranus is the planet of disruption,
Hmm.
innovation, and sudden change.
Okay.
And with Uranus and Taurus, which is a very grounded and stable sign, it creates this tension between wanting security and stability,
Right.
while also being open to unexpected shifts, new ways of earning money.
So it sounds like Aries could experience some financial surprises this month.
Mm-hmm.
Good and bad.
That's very likely. Could be a sudden windfall, a job offer with a much higher salary, or it could be an unexpected expense.
Right, right.
Lorenzo doesn't specify,
Yeah.
but he emphasizes the need for Aries to be adaptable, resourceful.
So it's all about rolling with the punches and being open to new possibilities.
Exactly. And remember, how these financial shifts play out will depend on choices they've made in the past.
Right, right. It's all connected. What else does Lorenzo cover in his horoscope for Aries?
Well, he doesn't stop with love, career, and finances. He also has some very important things to say about Aries' mental and physical health in March.
Oh, sounds intense.
Yeah,
Lorenzo always keeps it real, so I'm bracing myself for
Right.
some tough love.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He basically says that Aries has been ignoring their body's warning signs for too long, and March is the month where it all comes to a head.
So no more pushing themselves to the limit.
Yeah, he warns about stress levels being out of control, how that's impacting everything else in their life.
You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly, and he goes even further, saying if Aries doesn't slow down and take care of themselves, their body will force them to.
Whoa, that's a powerful image. It's like he's envisioning a full-blown breakdown
Right.
if they don't prioritize their well-being.
He's not trying to sugarcoat anything.
No.
That's for sure. And then he gives some very specific advice
Okay.
on what they need to do to avoid this.
Okay, I'm ready for his tough love prescription. What does Lorenzo recommend?
He says that if Aries has been neglecting rest, movement, or mental clarity,
Yeah.
they need to start addressing those areas immediately.
It's like he's reminding them that they have the power to turn things around.
Yeah.
But it's going to take some effort,
Yeah.
willingness to prioritize their own health and well-being.
Absolutely. And as always, he ties these health predictions to specific planetary placements. He points to Mars in Cancer, which is happening in Evi's fourth house.
Okay, reminder, what does the fourth house rule again?
The fourth house is all about our home, family, and emotional foundations. It's also about our sense of security and how we nurture ourselves.
And Mars is the planet of action, energy, drive. So with Mars in Cancer, which is a very emotional and nurturing sign,
Yeah.
it sounds like there could be some internal tension,
Yes.
frustration brewing for Aries.
Exactly. It's like they're trying to push forward and take action, but something is holding them back, making them feel irritable and on edge.
So makes sense why Lorenzo is so concerned about their stress levels. What other planetary placements are influencing Aries' health this month?
He also points to Neptune and Saturn in Pisces,
Okay.
which is happening in Aries' 12th house. Remember, the 12th house is all about endings, the subconscious, and hidden things.
Right. And Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, spirituality,
Yeah.
while Saturn is the planet of limitations, responsibility, hard work. That's an interesting combination.
It is, and when these planets are together in Pisces, which is a very sensitive and intuitive sign, it can create this feeling of mental and spiritual fatigue. It's like they're carrying a lot of unseen burdens, weighing them down.
So Lorenzo's warning about a potential breakdown makes even more sense when you consider these astrological influences.
Absolutely, and here's where things get even more interesting.
Okay.
Neptune actually enters Aries on March 31st.
Okay, hold on. Neptune is moving from Aries' 12th house of hidden things into their first house of self-identity. That sounds like a big shift.
It is a big shift. Neptune is a slow-moving planet, so its influence is felt over a long period. Lorenzo says Neptune's entry into Aries marks a permanent change in how Aries sees themselves.
That's pretty profound. What kind of change can Aries expect?
It's hard to say for sure because Neptune can be a tricky planet.
Yep.
To interpret.
I think so.
It can bring about spiritual awakening, creative aspiration, but it can also lead to confusion, delusion, and escapism.
So it's up to Aries to harness Neptune's energy in a positive way.
Yes.
And avoid getting swept up in its more shadow aspects.
Exactly. It's a powerful energy that needs to be handled with care.
We've covered so much ground already, but there's still more to uncover. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve into the specific dates and events Lorenzo highlights as being especially significant for Aries in March 2025. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been exploring Lorenzo's pretty intense March 2025 horoscope for Aries. And, you know, he doesn't just give us like these general vibes. He actually pinpoints specific dates that Aries should have circled on their calendar.
That's right. He gets very specific about when these cosmic energies are going to be at their peak. Like giving him a heads up when to brace themselves for impact.
Okay, so let's get into those key dates. Which ones does Lorenzo highlight as being especially significant for Aries in March?
Well, the first one is March 14th. We have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo. And for Aries, this eclipse falls in their 6th house.
And the 6th house is all about health, daily routines, and work, right? So what does a lunar eclipse in this area of life signify for Aries?
Lorenzo calls this eclipse a health wake-up call for Aries.
Ooh.
It's like the universe is shining a spotlight on any imbalances in their physical or mental well-being, forcing them to pay attention.
It's like those warning signs they've been ignoring are suddenly going to be impossible to miss.
Exactly. And remember, we talked about how Lorenzo warned about stress levels being out of control for Aries this month.
Right. He even mentioned the potential for burnout, breakdown.
If they don't prioritize self-care. So this lunar eclipse could manifest as like a health issue, or it could be like a more subtle nudge from the universe, a sudden realization that they need to make some serious changes to their lifestyle.
Okay, so March 14th is a day for Aries to really tune into their body and make some adjustments to their routine. What's the next key date Lorenzo mentions?
The next big one is March 20th, which is when the sun enters Aries. This marks the beginning of their astrological season. And it coincides with the spring equinox.
So a double dose of new beginnings. What does this shift in energy mean for Aries? Like on a personal level?
Lorenzo says this transit signals a major energy shift for Aries. It's like they're finally coming out of a fog.
Right. They've been in that introspective 12th house energy for a few weeks now. Time to
step back into the light. And with the sun in their own sign, it's like they're emerging from a cocoon, ready to take on the world with renewed energy and purpose.
March 20th sounds like a cosmic reset button for Aries.
It does.
What else does Lorenzo highlight?
He also points to March 29th as a major date.
Okay.
We have a new moon and a partial solar eclipse in Aries on this day.
Wow, another eclipse. And this one's in Aries' first house of self-identity.
Yeah.
That sounds like a powerful time for, like, setting intentions and embracing a new chapter.
It is. Lorenzo says this eclipse marks the beginning of a brand new personal cycle for Aries. It's a time to let go of any limiting beliefs, old patterns that are no longer serving them.
But all those choices they made earlier in the month, all those moments of um, confronting the past,
Yeah.
embracing change, have led them to this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with this new moon solar eclipse in their own sign,
Mhm.
Aries has a powerful opportunity to really manifest their deepest desires.
Okay, so March is clearly a month of intense transformation,
Yeah.
change for
Yes,
Aries,
it is.
with these key dates acting as cosmic milestones along the way. But before we wrap up, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. What's Lorenzo's overall message for Aries this month?
His message is very clear. March is about reinvention
Okay.
for Aries. It's about burning away what's no longer serving them. Bad habits, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, all of it needs to go.
It's time for a complete and total overhaul.
Exactly. And he stresses that there's no more time for waiting or making excuses. March demands action. It's a time for Aries to step into their power and create the life they truly desire.
Yeah, Lorenzo's energy is contagious. Even I'm feeling inspired to embrace some change
I know, right?
in my own life.
And you know what's interesting? Even if someone isn't an Aries or doesn't believe in astrology, there's so much wisdom in his message.
Totally agree. His advice to reflect on what's holding you back, to embrace change, and to step into your power, it just feels universally applicable.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Lorenzo's March 2025 horoscope for Aries, we want to leave you with a question.
Okay?
What areas of your life could benefit from a little reinvention? Whether you believe in astrology or not, maybe March is the perfect time to embrace change and step into a new version of yourself.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into